Elma, come on in to my therapy session.
My thank you.
Okay, so let's just start with, why are you here today? Like, why did you come to see me?
Well, I would like to talk to you about my ex-husband, Ennis, and his friend Jack, and that they hung out so much that we had to get a divorce.
When you say that they hung out, is that implying that they had an affair?
I'm not sure. I've seen some things, but I'm not sure what they mean.
What are those things?
Well,
This is a safe environment, Elma.
well, you sure? Because I don't want to get Ennis in any more trouble.
This is completely safe.
Okay. Well, the first time that Jack came over, Ennis seemed real happy. He seemed real happy. And when I walked out the door, well, they were making out. I didn't know what to think, so I just walked back inside and tried to forget about it. But I couldn't. I just couldn't.
Looking back, how does that make you feel?
It makes me feel sad. It makes me feel like I wasn't a good wife.
Are you okay with the fact that your husband is gay?
No! Because we got divorced because of it.
Oh, were there any other signs that he was having an affair?
Well, one time, after they were hanging out really often, I tied a little note to his fishing pole, because, they said they were fishing buddies. And I said, Ennis, can you bring me back some fish? The girls really love that. And when he came back, I checked the fishing pole. He said he ate all the fish that he caught. But that note was still there. He couldn't have fished with that note still there. So that's when I started to think that maybe he was having an affair.
How did that make you feel, knowing that your husband was probably gay?
It made me really upset, because we had a family. We had 2 girls, and I always wanted to move into town, but he wanted to stay out, apparently, so he could stay with Jack.
Did he ever want to go to church, or do any things that you wanted to do? Because I know you really wanted to go to church.
No, he never wanted to do anything I wanted to do. He always just wanted to wait, stay at home, drink his beer, and wait for Jack.
So, Alma, how are things at home?
Well, Ennis was always drinking his beer. I married the man because I thought that he would be able to give me that American dream, that we would be that real American Wyoming family. Raise a family, raise some kids, and die together and live together and really just enjoy life. But he couldn't give that to me. He always just was so disinterested, and he was just so upset and drinking all the time where I just couldn't stand it anymore.
So you're saying that for him, the American dream just wasn't enough? He just wasn't happy with that?
He just wasn't happy. I was always trying to chase that American dream with my girls, and with him, that's why I married him, is because we could have done that together. But he never wanted to do that.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Elma, for coming in. I know this is very difficult for you to talk about, so thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so what brought you in here today, Ennis?
Well, my good buddy Jack Twist, he died recently.
What was your relationship with him?
I don't know. About 20 years ago, we were sheep herders together up on Brokeback Mountain, and we got pretty close. And it was kind of lonely up there, so we've been fishing buddies and stuff since.
When you said that you got pretty close, can you elaborate on that?
Well, I don't know. It was just kind of, we just hung out and stuff. He had a lot to talk about. I'm not much for talking.
Did it progress beyond a friendship?
When I was a boy, my father took my brother and I out to this ditch one time, and he showed us this old couple of 2 men. We knew that they ran a ranch together not too far from where we lived, and my father showed us their bodies, and they were pretty gruesomely killed, and it was the most horrific thing I ever saw. And my father told us that it was because they was in love and they was together. And ever since then, I've known that things like that just ain't right. Do deep down, but I don't know.
So you're afraid to be with Jack because of what you'd seen?
Well, how can you not be? I lived in Wyoming my whole life, and my parents died when I was younger, and I was raised by my brother and sister. And I've always been disadvantaged, child support, and I never had a stable job, and it's been hard. I can't branch out. I can't do different things because this is all I've got. This is all that I've got going for me. I'm just a poor rancher that really don't got nobody.
Okay, I know that you're more of an inward kind of person. You keep your emotions inside, but I know you're married, or you were married, and you have kids, and so has your relationship progressed further? I know you've been kind of evading that question, but it's really important for us to know.
I couldn't help it. I didn't want to, but it was just so hard. I love him. I'll love him till the day I die. He's the only person I've ever loved and been myself with. Only person that gets me. Now that he's gone, I just realize now that I messed up. Should have stopped fighting it. He wanted to go to Mexico, He wanted to run away and always be together. He was always a dreamer. He thought that we could be together, that we could move to Mexico and live a happy life together where nobody would judge us, but I was just too scared. I was scared of what people would think of us, and I just always thought about when those two men were laying in that ditch.
So he was open for a relationship, open for change, and you weren't?
Yeah, I don't know, it was tough. We met up every so often. For a while we weren't together at all up in these past few years before he died, but I just was scared, and I just kept shooting him down, but he was always there wanting to be together and always dreaming.
I know you said that you were scared, but were you happy? I mean, were you happy? I know you had a wife and you had kids, but were you happy with that?
No, I tried to be. There were other women too after my divorce that I tried to be with, but it just wasn't the same. I think deep down I've always known, but I just fought it. I rejected who I was, who Jack made me be.
And I was made aware that Jack was killed, and just go into more detail about that. How did he die?
Well, one afternoon I decided, Jack and I had been apart for a couple years now, and I just was missing him. Things weren't going good in my life, and I just wasn't happy, and I realized that I needed him in my life, so I wrote him a letter like we always did. We always wrote each other letters, and it came back, it said deceased, and I thought, what? That can't be right. So I called his wife up, and she told me that he was fixing a tire and some story about how it blew up in his face and he died in his own blood. But I don't believe it for a second.
What do you think happened?
Oh, I know what happened. He was killed by men. Jack was much more open. I know that he was with other men in his life, and he wasn't happy with his wife neither. And I think people found out. Man did it to him because he was gay.
How does it make you feel?
Makes me feel real crappy. That's how it makes me feel, knowing that he went through that, and deep down he always tried to get me to run away and to be together, and I just gave up on him, took the easy road, hid who I was when he tried to be himself and got killed for it.